They trapping over there, I'm standing over here. We adjacent to the hood, so we in the clear. I wasn't in the gunfight, I was down the street, 2 blocks over, tucked safely in my sheets. I don't gangbang, I rap and tell jokes. And when I leave the hood, I go and hang with white folks. I know all the gang signs, but I don't use them. Low-key, they complicated and really confusing. Homies think I'm soft, cause I'm nice at golf. Killing with the sand where it's 56 degrees loft. And even though I'm not known for spitting the coldest raps, I'm the realest homie coming out the coldest side. Hood adjacent, hood adjacent, hood adjacent, hood adjacent.
Hood Adjacent with James Davis. New series Wednesdays at 9 on Comedy Central.
You got the hat?
Oh yeah, I'm a walking billboard.
Yeah, you're branded.
I'm branded
to the max.
This is actually that hat, but now dirtier.
You got one hat, and you've just had
One
it
hat.
on since this photo shoot.
Literally, never took it off.
James, let's start with Hood Adjacent. I mean, I think it was pretty clear from the trailer exactly what Hood Adjacent is, but talk about where you came up with that and what it feels like.
Well, it started off in my stand-up routine where I just have to describe what kind of LA dude I am. Because I grew up in South Central, but when you hear South Central, you think of what you've seen in the movies or on the news. And that is South Central, but South Central was bigger than that. And I literally grew up a street away from where it starts to get stereotypical. A street away from the common tropes, the gang banging, the drug dealing, that part of town where you wouldn't want to be associated. But then there's a street, and then after my street, it gets better and better and better. Because the black community is a lot more diverse than what we see on TV. There's middle class, upper middle class, lower class, and I lived in the middle class area. But literally because of my mom's strict rules of not riding my bike to the next block, I stayed in this mentality of hood adjacent. So I know everything that hood guys think about. I have those same desires sometimes, but I also went to private school since elementary school, went to a liberal arts college, played golf.
What college?
Pomona College in Claremont.
Okay.
Yeah, at the time it was like top 5 in the country.
I went to a top-ranked liberal arts college, too.
Oh, yeah, what?
Hampshire College.
Oh, yeah, we've heard of you.
No, it wasn't really on my radar, though.
So yeah, you know, because we're out of this world. Ooh, English major. I'm good with words. But so mentally and physically, I feel I'm hood adjacent. Physically, I grew up hood adjacent, but mentally, being exposed to so many different worlds and this bouncing back and forth between those worlds, it's made me who I am. It's the reason I pronunciate the way I do. But at the same time, I had to come up here wearing my patent leather Jordans. You know, it's just who I am.
So a lot of the show, I've watched the first episode. It's wonderful. It's extremely funny. A lot of the show, from what I can understand, is you sort of going into the hood and trying to sort of be less adjacent or just sort of understand that world a little bit more.
Well, I don't have to be any adjacent. It's organically, I know things and I don't know things. So I present what I know, and then as an audience, me and the viewer round out the knowledge. So I can be like, listen, I grew up in South Central. I can tell you all gang members aren't criminals. All gang members are not about to murder somebody. And then we get to meet some gang members knowing that, and then we'll learn more about them, stuff that I don't even know. Like I'm on camera learning how to determine where the gang territories are, just like my white counterpart in the same scene, because being hood adjacent.
Otto from New Jersey, right?
Yes,
yeah.
Martini. So it's like in any given situation, I'm the hood expert, but at the same time, I'm the visitor. Right. And it's not just the hood as far as, I guess, the inner city, but also just black community, black experience nuances. Like the hood for one episode is Black Twitter, and me leading the mainstream through Black Twitter through my half expertise in Black Twitter. I don't know everything in Black Twitter, so we're gonna get some Black Twitter experts to sit down, but I'm always the bridge. Or I have an episode about golf, where now I have an expert of golf, but my hood audience, maybe they don't know about golf, so.
Do you golf?
Oh, I'm nice. I'm really good. I watched the Golf Channel. I paid attention to the U.S. Open this past Sunday. Brooks Koepka, I see you, baby. He won the U.S. Open. Whatever.
I had no idea. What,
yeah, everyone's
that
like,
was a foreign language.
Is that a politician? Is he in this whole Russia controversy? Who is this Brooks guy?
Koepka.
No, but so but in that episode, golf is my neighborhood, and instead of leading the mainstream or my wider audience into the hood. I'm leading the hood into the country club. And I'm showing them that, hey, you're just as welcome at a golf course as you are at a street basketball court. But you need someone who's already been to the golf course and shown you that it's a safe space to lead you in.
Talk to me about Black Twitter, because I'm on Twitter, but I feel like I've never been led into Black Twitter by followers of any kind. Maybe I don't tweet anything that signals to people that I should be brought towards Black Twitter. And I also don't think I know how to find Black Twitter.
Well, I mean,
Is it hashtag Black Twitter?
It is not. It is not. If you hashtag Black Twitter, you are not a part of Black Twitter. But
Hey, I'm here. Hashtag Black Twitter.
Black Twitter present. Anybody else?
Looking for friends. Hashtag Black Twitter.
Right. Brought my permission slip. But no, I mean, I actually addressed that question like head on at the beginning of the episode in a very. I'm proud of how I handled it, so I don't want to give it to you right now. But I literally answered that question. It's because it's very simple, and I think that a question like that speaks to the show in general. A lot of times, just like you're like, how do I get to Black Twitter? My friend in the hood might be like, what do I do at a golf course? It's the same thing. We assume that something is further away from us than it really is. Like we're all adjacent to others' experiences. So you're one click away or one follow away from having your whole timeline flooded with Black Twitter.
I have a feeling that somehow I'm going to get into Black Twitter, and it's going to be like in that movie Limitless, where things are just sort of floating around me, and it's just going to be like all these tweets, and I'm going to be like awash in them, and it's going to blow my mind.
That's exactly what it is.
Really?
It's literally just.
So I am adjacent to having my mind blown?
Yeah, exactly. All you got to do is follow some Black people who follow some Black people, and that's how it starts. It's a snowball effect after that, because Black people retweet Black people. Now that's in your timeline. You get more Black retweets, GIFs, memes. Oh shit! Now I know what they're talking about.
All right, I gotta get on
That
it.
easy. But I mean, it's literally just at the end of the day, if you care,
retweet this when we're done.
and
Hashtag Black Twitter, then maybe and just tag me.
no, this is what I'll do. I will retweet this at you and then at two people who are heavy in Black Twitter. Okay. Don't say anything, just follow them. Don't even say anything to them.
Don't write
You're
back.
gonna see your Twitter handle and two strangers. Follow those strangers.
And you're saying
And that is the wormhole. You seen Interstellar? And they went
Yes.
into the black hole, into the whole universe?
Yeah.
That's your wormhole.
So
You follow these two Black Twitter names, you in Black Twitter.
and don't
Don't look back, don't ask questions, just
is
follow.
Is this Black Twitter? Am I
Don't
in
say
Black
anything.
Twitter now?
You follow, give it like 2 hours. Close Twitter, come back in 2 hours. You're gonna be like, whose Twitter is this?
Because I do feel like in Interstellar, Matthew McConaughey was floating. He was like, "Is this the Interstellar now? Is this the wormhole?" And I should do the same thing with.
Yeah, first, you remember like it was kind of the shit was shaking, and they're like, don't touch anything, don't move, just let it happen. Same thing.
Fucking amazing.
You just gotta let it happen. It's gonna be these retweets and things on your timeline. You're just gonna be like, don't say anything. Just observe, and all of a sudden, you'll be out in the world, and you will hear people reference things that you saw on Black Twitter, and you'll have this arrogance, this confidence. I know what you're talking about.
See, I want to have a moment where where it feels like I'm hacking. I can turn to someone and be like, "I'm in," and I'm just in Black Twitter.
I mean, well, you can do that.
Okay.
Because what will happen is you'll see your timeline, and you're gonna be like, oh, I'm in.
There it is.
And then,
that.
but guess what? You don't even have to tell people that you're on Black Twitter. All you have to do is start retweeting Black Twitter shit, and now your Black Twitter shit is gonna be in white timelines.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And now, if they want to,
I've
they can enter that
infiltrated-
same wormhole.
I'm in white timelines. I'm not worried about that. I've
you got white
infiltrated
Twitter a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm on white Twitter.
Well, at
I'm
the
all
end of
about
my
white
Black Twitter episode, I say that Black Twitter should integrate.
Oh, I agree.
Because it's so fun in there. Other people should join. Okay. Don't touch, but have fun.
Just retweet, follow.
Retweet,
that's
follow, learn. Give it a week before you start inserting your opinion.
Oh,
on
I'm not
stuff.
gonna do that. I know that's not gonna go well. That's not.
No, it will, but you just gotta. It's like a flow. It's like playing pickup basketball. You know.
I suck at basketball.
Okay, it's like playing pickup tennis. I don't.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's it. You know that thing.
Got an Amazing backstroke. Is that tennis? Sorry, I don't play tennis actually.
I don't know, but I would say that in the club. I got an amazing backstroke.
James, when did you start doing stand-up?
About a decade ago, I dropped out of college. I was ready to become a superstar actor. The auditions didn't come. And then I was chilling, and I signed up to do a bringer room show at the Comedy Store. Now, that's where you have to bring people in order to get on stage. I didn't know the rules. I just showed up with a couple friends like, hey, y'all, I'm doing comedy. Other people had brought their whole office. So those people go first, and they get the best crowd. And then after those people perform, their crowd leaves. So by the time I would go on stage, we could have done this in the bathroom. Like, it was just...
You could have done it in your friend's living room, basically.
Exactly. Like, we didn't have to waste the gas. But I told myself, if I bomb, I won't do this anymore. But I did well, and I started getting addicted. And then from stand-up, I learned that I could write comedy, started getting some writing jobs, and then I started writing for myself so that I could perform. And so then I did online sketches, Baraka Flocka Flame, the Kobe sketches on Funny or Die. And then from there, I got a writing job for James Corden, for the Late Late Show with James Corden. And I was there for about the first 6 to 8 months. And then I just focused on myself and the situation with Comedy Central when Swagasaurus happened, the Snapchat show. And that took off, and now we're here.
When you started performing, or the first time you performed stand-up in front of your friends, did you have like a whole set worked out, or did you feel like you could get up and wing it?
I'm an English major. I was so prepared. I had a whole essay. Literally, thesis, everything. I had pages of jokes written, and I just memorized as much as I could and performed it. I'd say 75% of it was funny. I had a joke about Terrell Owens doing end zone dances. That bombed terribly. They didn't like that joke. But I had some kind of political observation, and I like people, and that feeling of connecting to the crowd and getting that energy back. It really doesn't matter how I did. That feeling was a rush to me. Especially when, in New York, you're in a subway, there's so many people. In LA, you can isolate yourself. So every night when I perform, I get to touch the people, feel their energy, and it makes you get over yourself a little bit because you're here to make other people laugh. You're serving your fellow man, and when people laugh at you or laugh with you, it makes you feel good.
You get to get over yourself, but then you also get to feel good about yourself.
Definitely, but then stroke my ego at the very end. Yes.
That's a cake and eat it kind of situation, isn't it?
That's why I'm here.
What was it like? What was it like doing the first 6 to 8 months of Corden? Because not just writing on a late night show, but writing on a late night show that's just starting and developing, finding its voice. What was that period of time
like?
And
a British guy's voice.
And a British guy's voice. And how did
I'm
that
from South Central.
How did that affect you developing your own show?
It actually was very helpful because I was pumping out so much content, and I always, as a writer, I write what's funny to me. And so I had a lot of ideas that I felt were great ideas, but maybe didn't fit the voice of the show. But at the same time, I felt like they were organic to who I am and how I've come up, but would play on a late night CBS show. Like, I think the comedy would appeal to that large of an audience. So it kind of just reinforced the fact that no matter how nuanced or true my comedy is to my experience being a black man, I can execute it in a way that all races and sexes can enjoy the comedy. And so that kind of helped me understand what it means to be a hood-adjacent comedian. Like, I'm from South Central, but, we're talking about Interstellar for a second, or golf, or who knows? And it's that ability to serve my hood friends and make them laugh while at the same time serving people who don't look like me. That is, yes.
Do you, there's I wonder if it's cliche at this point. I don't know if it is, but there's the classic fear that is wrapped around that sometimes, and it's the one that Chappelle had, which is that, like, if by showcasing one element of this community, am I letting another community kind of laugh at it? Is being universal at the same time being somewhat divisive, or allowing like the more powerful to laugh at the weaker?
Well, one thing I can honestly say is that, yes, you can definitely find yourself in a position where maybe the comedy is uncomfortable to you as opposed to how you wanted it to start. Like, there's jokes. I never want to make fun of black people, just like, haha, black people. But if I'm making fun of something in my experience, then I might end up making fun of black people. But it's coming from my voice and how I saw the comedy, and not someone from the outside being like, you know what else is funny about you black people? And be like, what? Like, no, like, everything is coming, everything's coming from within me. So if somebody of the black community is the butt of the joke, it's coming from me. So it's like, come at me, talk to me about it. It's not like there was some corporate agenda to make a specific community or group of people look bad. And I think it's also, I have to give kudos to Comedy Central and the execs that I've been working with, because there's just certain phrasing, certain vernacular you can use that makes something inclusive instead of divisive. A lot of black comedians like to say, white people, or look here, white people. And it's like, when you do that, you literally exclude a whole demographic just to talk to white people. And then when you do that, there's this patronizing kind of feeling that you're assuming all white people don't know what you're talking about. And it's a comedy trope, just like saying bitch or the N-word. Like, it's just something that comedians do. But if you really pay attention to it, you're dividing your audience. And I'm very focused on bringing my audiences together rather than being like, I'm going to talk to the hood right now. I'm going to talk to the adjacent right now. It's like, no, if you're at my show, you're hood adjacent, just by the fact that you're watching the show and you're letting me lead it. So everybody's part of a general audience, and if I'm talking about something from the hood, it's for everybody. If I'm talking about something golf related, it's for everybody. So at every part of the show, I'm thinking about all these people, but I'm not singling them out. But they are in mind. But I don't have to single anybody out at any part of my joke to give them some special message. Like, everybody's message is the same, because we're all humans. We all laugh. We all want to food. We all want to eat, sleep, and it's like, so I just appeal to those common things instead of the more specific things that divide us.
Absolutely. Let's get some questions from the audience. Who has a question right there?
Hi.
Hey.
As a fellow English major who
Okay.
as a fellow English major who lives on the border of hood adjacent as well, how much time did you go into writing your show and trying to find that genuine audience to know that you are doing this for all of them, like having your personal experience and making it to everybody?
How did you make your personal experience universal, I would say?
By keeping it personal. I think when you try to speak for other people's experiences, that's when you get in trouble. But if I keep it personal to me, then I'm not saying this is how everybody's life is. But if something in my life appeals to your life, then I'm talking to you in that moment. If it doesn't appeal to you, then you're learning in that moment about my experience. But if I try to say, brothers be doing this, black people, women, men, and I just have these umbrella type commentaries, that makes it more tricky. So I think as long as I say personal to me, it's on my audience to gravitate to what they want to, as long as I'm not pushing anybody away while telling my story. And also I want to say, if you're hood adjacent, it's all in you. Whatever you want to talk about is addressing audiences. So if you want to talk about something that appeals to the hood side, then you're talking to the hood. If you want to talk about something that appeals to your adjacent borderline side, then you're talking to that side. But as long as you stay true to you, you're talking to everybody who's had a similar experience as you.
Next question.
Hey, how you doing?
What's up? Arms out. I see you. Summertime.
Yeah. I'm from the hood and I'm not an English major.
Way to separate yourself from the pack. Don't know about this dude, but
I had a question, but you kind of like answered it. So my next question is, like, I'm a new comic myself. And
did you DM me?
Yes, I did.
Okay, boom.
How you doing?
How you doing, man?
Yeah. So my issue is, like I said, I'm not an English major. So my grammar and I like to do things improv and just work with it. But I have to like work on a script because I want to transfer like you said earlier, your stand-up into a show. What ways do you go about it? Because doing stand-up is different from creating a script. And with a script, you have to go like, scene one, come in, and all this new songs that I don't care about. How do I like put more kids to it so I could like bring it to life?
Well, I feel like a lot of people in the hood are funny in general, just organically funny. Whether it's the barbershop, the corner, the household, there's a lot of organically funny people in the hood. I feel like there's people funnier than me in the hood right now, in my hood. But part of the, I guess, hood adjacent part of the adjacent experience is stepping out of your comfort zone to take your craft higher. So I don't talk about it, and maybe I should, but like I've taken UCB improv class, Second City improv class, improv class at college. I've taken a screenwriting class. I've taken screenwriting what's the weekend thing? The workshops. Sometimes I don't even finish the workshop. Sometimes I only go to like 4 classes and drop out. But those 4 classes are elevating my skill.
That's keep you working. They keep you pushing. Even if you're not learning something from them, you have to write something to bring it in.
Exactly.
You have to perform.
And even with improv teaches you how to build your characters or how to feed off stuff. So I think a lot of times writing seems like a daunting task, but if you just, do you write it all or is it all?
No, like I write most of my like bits in here and there, but most of my jokes come from what I lived through.
Right.
So whatever happens, like whatever, like.
I would just say it's a mentality, and just like you have to buy a book or invest in at least one class to know the structure that you're entering so that you can put yourself into it. Like
I was planning on going to the UBC diversity program.
Yeah.
And
because what you'll notice is that things that happen to you in your life are scenes.
Okay.
People you know are characters. Stories are stories. Whether it happened to you or a friend, it's a story. And until you feel confident to just pull stories out of the woodwork, you can write movies, scenes based off things that have literally happened to you and build small. You know, maybe your first film isn't a feature. Maybe it's just a short. Maybe your short becomes the first act of your feature. So it's like you just have to do something.
Like building a set.
Right, exactly. And just know, too, as well, you from the hood, so that you have a lot of stories that other people who have the skill set of screenwriter can't tell. So as long as you are putting your story out there as unstructured or raw as it is, as long as you put your heart into it, somebody who believes in you will help you put it together. Like, I ain't never had no TV show before. But Comedy Central put me with a showrunner, and they gave me a head writer, and they gave me a writer's assistant, and producers, and people who are skilled at other things to help the raw idea that I have of being hood adjacent become a 22-minute show.
Absolutely. I think I have time for one more question right there.
Hey, how are you?
I'm sorry, we're only taking black dude questions?
Actually, she's really big on Black Twitter, actually.
I'm just kidding.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. My question is, what is it like to write for the Comedy Central, and what are the benefits of writing for them?
Man.
I dare you to just shit talk. No.
No. I'm gonna be 100% honest. Have you ever had a hard class where when you were in the class, sometimes it was difficult and you're like, man, like I feel like my teacher's like giving me a little too much. Like it can't be this complex. But then when you get to your next class, you're like, I am nice at this. Like, that's how it is. Like, the process was very hard because Comedy Central and myself, we didn't want to make an average show. We didn't want to make a just okay show. We wanted to make a dope-ass show. And anything that's dope takes a lot of work. And sometimes I thought I had put in enough work. And they're like, nah, it needs more work. But we had the same goal, which is to make a hit show. So because we had that same goal, ups and downs, whatever, it didn't matter to me because it's like playing pickup basketball. Like somebody might say, hey, hustle. Or like, yo, get your man. You're not gonna be like, stop talking to me like that. You're gonna be like, oh, I gotta play defense harder because we're trying to win. So it was that kind of feeling of we all want this amazing show and everybody's putting their heart into it. So sometimes I'd want something that I can't get, or sometimes they'd want something and I'd be like, I don't know. But at the end of the day, we were literally, Comedy Central and myself, putting 200% into making this a very dope show and an original show as a black man on Comedy Central. Under the shadow of Chappelle and Key and Peele, I salute Comedy Central because they really forced me to make a show that was true to me and not my version of other shows they've done.
Did you feel like you started off thinking about a version of other shows that they've done just because of the pressure of having your own show? You want it to succeed, and you know these things succeeded
Not of the
before?
pressure, but I'm just a fan. I grew up, I love Chappelle's Show. I love certain Key and Peele sketches, and as comedians, our style gravitates to what we like anyway. So I think
That's a sense of what works.
yeah, and it's what works. So I always wanted my own Chappelle Show, but so I think organically maybe there were certain ideas or tropes that I moved towards where they were like, what would you like? Is this you? Is this really you? And luckily the execs I'm working with, they weren't like assigned and they don't know me. They know me, so they can see when an idea is getting away from who James is.
Did you have the experience when you were developing this where you're like, I want to do something totally different, I want it to be crazy, and then you sort of reach a point where you're like, well, no, TV in 22 minutes, there's a reason that so many things have this
man.
structure, and we can do something different within this structure.
Yeah, no, I mean, my show is topical, so I have every episode is a different topic, and for certain topics, I want to do a whole new show, and it's like, no, it's you have a show. Yeah. You got to stick to this at least general format, but
You end up, when you start making something, you realize that the format is not just someone's idea. It's like a completely necessary component.
yeah. I mean, I didn't understand acts and act time, so I'm just like, how do we not have time? This sketch is 3 minutes. It's a 22-minute show, so we got 19 more minutes. How are we out of time? But I didn't realize like there's this amount of time in this act, this amount of time in this act, and it's also about the science of keeping people's attention. And that's something that Comedy Central is more of an expert in than I am. So, I mean, and the showrunners and the producers, so I never felt over my head, but there's definitely times where I was just like, look, I know what I feel the people want, and you know what you feel the people want, and tell me what to do.
Well, they've done it a few more times.
Yeah, exactly.
It premieres tonight? Does it premiere tonight?
Next Wednesday,
Next
9
Wednesday?
p.m., June 28th, Comedy Central. The game changes after.
James Davis, everybody. James, thanks so much,
Thank
man.
you, guys. Thank you so much.